Women have the power to transform this world. We can end crime and violence if we all agree to do one thing: share. Let's share our wisdom, share our time, share our talents, share our finances, but most of all, let's share our love. This is the Female Solution.
Wake up feeling beautiful. I wanna wake up with the sunlight in my eyes and your arms surrounding me. I wanna wake up feeling beautiful. That's how I wanna be. I wanna wake up with a song in my heart. Wake up with a song in my heart and the joy in my eyes. I wanna wake up feeling beautiful. I wanna wake up, you and me are the perfect match that could ever be. Wake up feeling beautiful. Feeling beautiful with you. I wanna wake up knowing you are mine.
Good morning, everyone. It is Chicago's most cloudy day due to smoke, and I hope that you are wearing your mask and that people everywhere are taking caution with what they have to do. Today is going to be a fantastic day. I've got an exciting guest in the audience that at least I'm very excited about. And you know, I'm just an exciting personality. I'm excited about everything. Like if I get a new blouse or I find some great wallpaper or I meet a new person. So today, Dr. Balin A. Durr is my new person, my new meet. And I'm excited to bring her into the room so she can talk about the mental health and well-being of us all. And I would imagine someone who is as strong and as communicable in terms of her work and the things that she's going to share with us is as healthy as can be, as a mind can be. And so we're going to learn some things from Dr. Durr. But until and in the meantime, I just want to welcome you into the room and say good morning, good morning, good morning. How's everybody doing? You know what? It's been a great start to the summer. The weather has been either super hot or rainy, but we're all getting through it. And I see people out enjoying themselves and seemingly like standing on the business and taking care of things. So I just want to say good morning. Good morning to my early risers who are in the room. Good morning, JJ. It's good to see you here. I know that I've watched your post on the sky and keeping up with the news report on what's happening in the skies in Chicago. Thank you for being so conscious about everything. It means a lot to us when we have people who are following up and providing an extra dose of what's going on, right? And so thank you so much. It's good to see you in the room as always. And we got my son, John. Is he in the room? Good morning, John. So glad to see you. Love you, son. And we have our family reunion here in Chicago. The Gill Family 2026 Family Reunion is going on right here in Chicago. We're going to be here all weekend, just clapping it up, laughing, loving, hugging each other, and paying tribute to the legacy of family. So before I bring Dr. Burr into the room, Dr. Durr, I'm sorry, I want to call her Balin. That's the problem. And I've been putting Dr. Balin. She probably gets that all the time because it's such a friendly word to say that name, Balin. But I just want to say to you, people call me Bala. And I'm going, no, that's not my name. But so that's probably where I get all that from. Anyway, before I bring her in, and we're going to have a co-host today with Dr. Naima Latif, who is the founder and executive producer of Female Solution. And so she'll be in the room to chime in and chat in with Dr. Durr. So let's talk about Dr. Durr a little bit because, she's quite a person and she is part of a dynamic dual. Dr. Balin A. Durr is a dynamic double board certified child, adolescent, and adult psychiatrist with more than 25 years of experience. Her integrative whole person approach honors the connection between mind, body, and spirit, combining medication, management, nutrition, informed care, lifestyle strategies, and brain and health education to help people move forward and toward greater mental wealth. A healthy brain, a healthy thinking that support the fulfillment of infinite potential and purpose. Now she's in the room. I think she left out really quick, but I'm going to get her back on camera real quick. Oh, wait a minute. Here she comes. She's back. She's back. And I'm going to bring her in and we're going to share the screen as we prepare for her. But Dr. Balin, wait, here I go again. Dr. Durr, can I call you Dr. Balin? You're going to let me know. She's such a sweetheart. She's shaking her head. Yes, I see her before she brings in. I just want to bring in Dr. Latif real quick so we can kind of talk about this piece, right?
Yes.
Dr. Latif, let me say something. It's always great to have professionals in the room. Isn't that so?
Yes. They give us so much wisdom.
Yes, and with the state of things going on, we know that we need all of the professional help we can to keep people balanced and moving forward.
Yes.
And one of the things that I really have to salute you on this morning is that this programming on the Female Solution really provides so many different outlooks to help people find ways to get down the road and to just straddle themselves up with something that's sturdy and worthwhile that comes through these programs.
Yes. Well, we certainly appreciate you with your unique personality adding to the mix.
My unique personality, I'm going to take that as a nod of love.
Of course.
I want you to join me in welcoming Dr. Durr into the studio. Good morning, beautiful. Oh, she's beautiful, isn't she? Good morning. How are you?
Well, good morning.
Wait a minute. She's got the voice.
Oops.
She's got the voice. She says, well, good morning. I'm like, oh, crap. Okay, come on.
Yeah, I need to sound like that in the morning.
Say yes, ladies. I do have the radio voice, as people like to call it. So yeah, good morning, goddesses. How are you?
Excellent.
And as I tell people, I call women goddesses because we are divine feminine energy.
Ooh, I love that philosophy. Yes.
I love it too. Divine feminine energy.
Yes, divine feminine energy.
Well, you have a whole thing going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just a state of being, right?
Yeah. When you sent me your photos, I said to myself, oh, she's jazzy. I said, no, she's special. She's sophisticated. Oh, no, she's popular. She's a whole lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't just do this. You do a lot of things in cultural arts and working with people from all over Chicago and probably everywhere around the nation, given your aesthetic in terms of what you do for work. But why don't we just kind of like surrender the screen to you just a little bit so you could talk about some of your work a little bit, and then I can come back and we can talk. It's my honor to have you here, Dr. Durr, and I want to make sure that we keep this here targeted on you.
So one of the things I just wanted to start off with is I tell people whatever you see in me is because that's what is within you. Does that make sense? You know, we see ourselves in other people whether we realize it or not. So as you mentioned, I am a board certified, actually double board certified child, adolescent, and adult psychiatrist with over 25 years of experience. And in addition to that work, which I really define it as mental wealth. And for me, what defines mental wealth is both a healthy brain and healthy thoughts. And having mental wealth is the gateway to having the greatest fulfillment of our infinite potential and purpose. So my work is grounded around mental wealth, again, healing minds, fulfilling infinite potential, and living life in the sweet spot. Because we were all born to live life in the sweet spot.
That's right. We all were. That's what's most ideal. So did you catch that intro with the new, well, you don't know this, but that's a new model of waking up you feeling beautiful. I'm going to play it again through one of the breaks because I really truly believe it starts at the very beginning. And another thing that I want to share with my audience about you is that you're an author, a poet, a speaker, a media host, that you're also working with the Bronzeville, what is it? No.
The Smooth Jazz Festival.
The Smooth Jazz Festival. So I'm a jazzist, but I usually don't say smooth jazz. But you know what? I've endeavored into smooth jazz writing of songs, and so I'm going to be sharing that with you later, but not on screen. But the song that I put together, Wake Up Feeling Beautiful, is a model of that aesthetic.
Okay.
I think it's kind of important for us to figure out how we can manage to bring everybody into the room.
Yeah, and the thing that I like to remind people is, again, your beauty comes from being. This is really just what I like to call the car, right? The body is like the car, and then being is the driver. So our sense of self, beauty, creativity, equanimity, balance, purpose, all of that is derived from being. And it is never defined by this physical
body
expression here, the physical carrier that we need in order to move around the planet.
Well, that's kind of important to even talk about that aspect, because a lot of us are hung up in how we look as opposed to how we feel. Isn't that the biggest thing that you tackle, or is that one of the biggest things that you tackle when you're dealing with people with mental health?
So it's interesting when you say that. I think about Billy Crystal and his character, where he back, this is old school, right? He said, "You look marvelous. It doesn't matter if you don't feel good. It's best if you look good," right? So many of us are caught up in that. Do I look good? And I think, looking good obviously has its place and has its purpose. It can actually be a representative of health, right? Because if you're taking good care of yourself, if you are in good health, it is reflected in your appearance, right? How your skin looks, how your eyes are, if they're bright, if they're, the proper color in terms of the white part. So the quality of our skin, all of that can be an indication of our state of health. So it does have a place and a purpose, but to me, more fundamental is being. And do I identify as that unique, wonderful being? As I like to, remind people, we are all star children. And that's literally science, right? Meaning the atoms in our body comes from exploding stars. The calcium in our bones comes from exploding stars. The iron in our blood comes from exploding stars. So we are star children and expression of the universe.
Oh, I love that. Exploding stars, exploding stars. I love all that. You're speaking my language. Keep talking.
Yes. So we are all star children, whether we realize it or not, right? And being a star child in and of itself means that we are infinite potential appearing as us. We are not only a drop in the universe, but we are the universe in a drop. We are the you in universe.
Wow. The you in the universe.
Yes, the you in the universe.
So we can look at the universe as our umbrella. When you say you, just all things of how we can manage to see what it is you say in expression, right? And I think that because of the work that I do as a communicator, say, because I write and I sing and I speak to people here at Coffee Break and in many other kinds of platforms, it's always important to me to have that persona, but more importantly is that I'm healthy inside as well, right? And I always ask myself, okay, Senabella, what's my state of mind as I get into it? Because I feel like I have to provide a service that is a love offering to people when I'm present, right? And so no matter what's going on with me, and sometimes with what's going on with me, I'm better. How do you help people to identify their problems when they come to you?
So one, I just wanted to say how beautiful you know what you just said was, and again, I think it's it's foundational. How I go about helping people is, and I do, like I said, I do what I like to call sprinkle on people. So whether I'm in the office or if I'm, you know, out at the store, or I tell people if I'm in at the Apple store or REI or Target or just wherever I happen to be, um, then I like to sprinkle on people. So, which is, you can feel people's energy, and a lot of times people, how they're thinking and feeling, it's they wear it on their face, right? um, but then obviously there are those who actually come to see me, whether it's virtually like this or whether it's actually in the office. And for me, it's obviously it's what's troubling you, what's bothering you, what do you want help with. And
Mhm.
oftentimes with me, people actually get what gets identified for them as something entirely different than what they expected.
Mhm.
I am attuned to people, both, what you say, right? I'm attuned to what you say, how you appear, your body movements, what you're doing with your, you know, with
Uh-oh.
your body, and um, just then identifying what the real concern is, what the real issue is, and then let's finding a solution. So again, for some people, that's quite different than what they expected. What they think the problem is can sometimes be very different than what the actual problem is.
Hmm. Yeah, I can see that. I've taken up mental health wellness myself over the years, and it has served as a great moderator in my life.
Mhm.
There are times when I took it for a long time, I took it for long periods of time, and then there were times when I only took it just for short periods of time. But I found that having a safe place to go and sit and to communicate about how you think, what you feel, and where you're going, is an important aspect of our well-being. And with the state of emergency that's going on in mental health today, and that's what I call it, because so many people feel exhausted,
Mhm.
and I wouldn't say that everyone's depressed, but I certainly feel that people have been exhausted. Can you identify with that in terms of how I'm speaking of it, and sort of give it some kind of foundational conversation? The exhaustion we feel as a country or as people right
Well,
now.
I'm not sure this exhaustion, it reaches the level of exhaustion for everyone.
Mhm.
I certainly think what's accurate is that large numbers of people are in a highly stressed state daily. And the reason for that is because there's so much coming at us. One, I remember some years ago when someone was talking about this being the information age that we're in, this constantly, there's stuff on now 24/7. I remember again when I was much younger, where actually, TV went off at 2 a.m., right? There's no TV programming. Now it's 24/7. Now you have hundreds of channels. And they said it was like, um, instead of lighting the candle at both ends, it's really like pouring gasoline on the candle and setting the whole thing on fire, which is really how I feel much of the time, right? Is there's doesn't seem to be many places for pauses. And then on top of it, there is you know if you have a relationship, if whatever your job or profession is, your finances, raising kids, again, the economy and how much things cost, and how much are you making enough in order to be able to, meet your basic standard needs and then do some extras that you want to do. And so again, I find many people are highly stressed, and that mental stress actually has an impact upon our physical well-being. It alters our blood sugar and our blood pressure, our ability to get sleep. We're oftentimes feeling anxious. So, and of course, millions of people suffer from depression. So I don't want to minimize that aspect of it. But yes, you're talking about millions of people who are suffering from depression and anxiety because of the high state of stress. And also the fact that we have such our support systems are so thin. Again, it used to be a time where, we live close by family, there's multiple generations. And in some places, of course, people live together, or they lived in the same physical, same building, or right next to each other, or right down the street. But again, people have moved, they're far more mobile, and we don't know our neighbors the way we used to. So the support that we used to get, again, has become very thin. As I like to say, nobody knows everything, knows how to do everything. So that's the benefit of family and community. And again, a lot of that's missing.
I just want to put Dr. Latif back on stage too, because I think that this is a community conversation at this point, right? One of the things that I have discovered of myself is trying to keep up with my sleep patterns. They're changing. I find myself to be hyperstimulated, right? I want to stay up and do things all the time and late into the night, and I'm getting less sleep. And I don't know that I'm waking up tired, or I'm just waking up with this sort of plan to do more. And I know it is because of what is going on around
me. Yeah, there's that stress to achieve things. There's always the ever-present pressure to pay bills and all of the things that come with that. And then there's this idea that's been planted in our minds about what it means to be successful, and you have to achieve this, this, and this. And when you get a certain age, you should have this. So I think we all have been programmed with a false sense of what it is to be acceptable. And so we overwork ourselves, we overstress, we're constantly depriving ourselves of sleep. And we have to, at some point, when we get to this age, should have some level of wisdom to say, why am I doing this? Who am I trying to impress or satisfy in terms of whether or not I am acceptable as a person? And at some point, we have to get to the realization that no matter what I am okay. I am acceptable. I accept and love myself as I am. And I don't need to try to be something in order for me to be acceptable. At some point, we need to get to that point.
Well, that's so funny you're saying that, because I'm always trying to impress myself. I'm trying to impress. I'm just being honest. Yeah, I'm trying to impress myself that I can. When actually at times I don't even want to, and I can't. Yeah. And I think if there's anything that's overstimulating me, it's my desire to be perfect, to want to do more in that perfection, and to be viewed with sort of respect and a value. And even though others have affirmed and have said things to me that I'm always humbled by to hear, and I don't know if humble would really fits my personality at this moment in saying it, but that what it does is it has fulfilled, at least in me, that somebody is being reached by something I say or do, and that helps me. But I am driven by what's going on. So like recently, Dr. Durr, here we go.
It's fine to call me Dr. Balin.
Yeah, Dr. Balin. It's just easier to say. I'm just going to say that. When I get to Durr, I go, Durr. Okay, well, whatever. Not to make light of it in that way. But I found myself really dealing with that, this whole communication aspect, and looking at so many things going on. Like right now, I feel Chicago's overstimulated.
Oh, for sure.
I
For
feel like
sure.
it's overstimulated. And so when I go out, I'm like, oh my God, everywhere you go, there's so much going on. It's like we have this big mask of activity going on to sort of cover up something. And so I feel like there's always something going on. I mean, can you speak to that, Dr. Balin? Really?
Well, yeah. So a couple things actually I wanted to speak to. You brought and this will be a great example of what you were talking about, right? When people come to see me, I'm listening, right? I'm going, okay, well, there's a couple of things right there. Okay, so one, I like to remind people that who we are as beings, and I'm a person. I again, I'm integrative, holistic. So me, it's again, it's spirit, mind, body. That who we are as beings, right? As a spiritual being, as an energy being, because everything in the physical universe is made of energy, is already perfect, is already whole, is already complete, is already divine.
Yes.
And if you can remind yourself that that is your true identity, then you don't need to be perfect because you are already perfection expressed as you. Now, that is different than the things that you do. And we again forget about being is already perfect and then try to make ourselves quote unquote perfect by doing it perfectly. And and which of course is a stressor in and of itself. So if I'd say it, and actually did a video myself because I have my own YouTube channel. There's a little short video I did that's called, focus on progress, not perfection, right?
Mm.
Mm.
Because if you just do the best that you know how to do right now, today, on this step, then you learn and grow, right? As I tell people, none of us, nobody starts off as a professional. Everybody starts off as an amateur. There's the
Mm.
first time you do something for each and every one of us. There's always a first time for everything we do. And so again, if you can be generous with yourself, right? You can be compassionate with yourself, and that understanding that it's practice and it's time and it's showing up consistently, that and what you do gets better. I remember when I first started doing this stuff, it was like because I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I hope I'm doing it right. And then learning and taking classes, but it's still, even with that, it took me time to get to this place. I've been doing this now for 25 plus years. I didn't start off with this level of skill and ability at the beginning. This is time and practice, right? Anything we do over and over again is a practice. Like I practice medicine. So if you understand that you get better as you practice over time, assuming you practice in the right things.
Practice being the word, the key word to pay attention to.
Absolutely.
Correct.
Yeah.
I didn't say anything you do over and over again is a practice,
Yes.
whether you realize it or not. And so the other thing too that I wanted to address that you also brought up was the issue of sleep. It's really important to understand that at different stages in our lives, our body functions differently, and for us mature folk, right? Uh,
Mhm.
y'all know this. There's a difference also in the way you sleep, or frankly, don't sleep. Right? You're not getting as much sleep, and part of that has to do with, again, how our body is changing. And if there's some simple things that we could do that would help improve that, like I'm really big on basics and fundamentals. That includes, that means nutrition and giving your body the raw materials that it needs in order to build healthy cells so that they function properly. And so you can't expect your body to do what it needs to do if you don't give it the basics that it needs, right? It's going to take what you give it and just go, I'm doing the best I can. Here you go. So
Wow.
so one of the things I like to tell people um, is, especially if you're like a coffee drinker, you're drinking a lot of caffeine, that makes you pee. And some of the things you're doing is you're peeing out some of what we call your electrolytes. One of those is magnesium.
Oh, with the coffee and the pee-pee.
What?
The coffee and the pee-pee. I had no
You know what? We all grown folk here. And if you can't handle the word PP, I don't know what to tell you.
We always say that. I'm like, oh, okay. The overstimulation. I had no idea.
Yeah. So magnesium, which is a mineral, is something that helps the body calm itself, and it helps you to sleep. And I personally take it. When I start skipping, and I am a coffee drinker and a tea drinker, if I start skipping it too much, then I start having problems with sleep, meaning I'll sleep for about 3 or 4 hours and then wake up. And it can take me hours to go back to sleep. So it's in terms of those basic things, that also helps us deal with the stimulation. You know, the other thing, and you brought this up earlier too, see, we have to own what we choose to participate in, right? And you know what people, you know how people would say to you, so-and-so is driving me crazy. And I tell people, when crazy drives up, don't get in the car.
I like that. Oh, well, I know we got to take a break soon, but there's a question I want to ask you about the whole self-image thing that women have, the reason why we tend to be stressed. And we have been, and I love how you said we're all divine goddesses. That's not the philosophy that many of us, particularly as women, have been raised with. And so there's always the underlying thought that you're not acceptable unless you look a particular way or your particular weight and all these kinds of things. And so we beat ourselves up for either being overweight, underweight, to this, to that, hair not right, and all that sort of thing. And we're just never good enough. And that's a programming that we need to deprogram ourselves. How do we get to that point? And it's interesting because a friend of mine calls locks, he calls it strong hair. He said, I notice women with strong hair always seem like they're real spiritual. So that's an interesting thought.
Transfer from nappy to strong hair. I like that.
Strong hair, yes. But you know, how do we create more of a positive self-image and undo the negative programming that our society continues to thrust at women, that we're not acceptable and lovable enough unless we meet a certain physical criteria?
So again, I'm going to start with this one, which is we need to own our choices, meaning own the fact that I am choosing to believe what somebody else is saying about me, how they're defining me, when in fact, that's not even really the truth. What I mean by that is that if I say to you, you're a goddess and you're beautiful and you're divine and you filled with the infinite potential of the universe, you're a star child made of stardust, you can say yes to that or you can say no to that. So then who's really defining you? Who's really defining you, you or me? The answer is you are. I'm just offering you my opinion about you and your possibilities, but you're the person who makes the final decision as to if that's true or not. Okay.
Well, I just want to.
I was going to say, so and here's the other part to this. Again, if you're a person who is a spiritual person, and for me, spirituality is about my relationship with the Creator, not about a specific religion in a specific way. But am I? Who is the source of my identity? So, as a spiritual person, a spiritual being, it is another person, another being in the human form. Am I making them the source of my identity and my possibilities, or am I making the Creator the source of my identity and possibilities? Because the source, the Creator, says something entirely different than what man folks say. The other thing too is, and I like to remind people, is and this is something I heard Deion Sanders say years ago. He said, "You can't break me because you didn't make me." How you didn't design me or purpose me So how do you get to say, am I good enough or not good enough? You don't know who I am and what I'm here for.
That's right.
Right? I like to remind people, like with a football team, everybody can't play every position. The offensive line, they're big guys, right? And they are a different size and they do different work than the quarterback and the running back and the corners and stuff. I'm a football fan, in case you can't tell.
Yes.
So everybody's not the same size. Everybody, they're not the same size as the punter. They don't do the same work as the punter. So why would I look like you? Why would I be like you? Why would I have the same skills? Why would I have the same, I don't have the same design and purpose as you. And why am I letting somebody who didn't design me tell me who I am and what I can or cannot do, what my possibilities are? Really?
What you should be. Yeah.
Well, I just want to take a moment and read a couple of comments because you've touched on some of what is being stated. Pace Brown came into the room. Good morning, Pace Brown. Beautiful women doing God's work for the people and helping our community just like superheroes. Thank you all for such a positive impact on my day with your message. I can't sleep anymore either, and my sleeping is so out of whack. Menopause is so intrusive. I feel myself stepping away from old life and creating a new one that I have complete creative freedom and control. This is how I found you all this morning. Thank you, goddesses. And then John Izzy says, the good doctor is speaking my language. I love your perspective, Dr. Durr. Okay. And then JJ came back in and said, that is so true, Dr. Durr. We have to be conscious of the company we keep for our own peace. So, I'm going to take a quick break and honor what my executive director would have me do at this moment. We're going to go to take a break. It's only going to be a short one. I encourage everyone to stay with us and to come back for this here great conversation that we're having with Dr. Balin Durr. And if I'm scrolling right or doing something right, I should be right back. But if I'm taking my time, it's because I got a wheel turning.
Things happen.
It happens. So let's get right to it. We'll be back. This is Coffee Break Live with Senabella, and I'm happy with.
Have you seen all the solar farms popping up everywhere? The big fields with the solar panels. There's one in our community. They produce electricity using the clean energy of the sun to send to the power grid to reduce our energy costs. Because not everybody can get solar panels put on their roof the way I have, but everybody can enroll for free to share the energy produced by the solar farms. That's why they were built. You're supposed to be getting a 10 to 20% savings on your bill for that, right? Illinois has a goal to transition by 2050 to 100% clean energy. So everybody needs to be connected. People in other communities are already getting their savings. So I'll be by to see you because they want to make sure you get your savings as well. It just takes a few minutes. I'm Naima Latif. Call me if you have any questions. 312-849-3456.
And we're right back. I told you it was short and sweet. Dr. Latif, I called you the other day after I saw the commercial break. I said to myself, look, why is my energy bill going up with these solar panels?
Well, they must be having you connected to the wrong ones. But that's what's supposed to happen.
Started off with $25, now I'm at $80. I'm like, something's not working on this end. I need to fix it. But I'm still saving money. I just want to say that. I think solar panels are one of the best products that's out here, to be honest. I can't complain.
Get rid of the pollution.
In some cases, thousands of dollars for energy today.
Yeah.
So Dr. Balin, where are you in this moment? What is something that you think that's important to convey in this message today to people? Or have we touched on it?
There's so much that we've talked about already, and some of it there's definitely opportunity to go far deeper.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it's important for people to understand just how important sleep is, how essential it is for brain health. It gives your mind an opportunity to take out the trash while you're sleeping, and empty, the stuff that you've been thinking about, that's been bothering you, that's been processing. And I like people to, again, because I like to teach about brain health, is that everything we think and feel has a chemical associated with it.
Mm.
And so when you're in a positive state of mind, those chemicals create health in the body. But when you're in a negative state of mind and emotion, and it's consistent, like I said, like that consistent chronic stress, there's chemicals associated with that too. And it's different than, you see a bus coming and you need to jump out the way so you don't get hit, and then that goes away. But the kind of stress that we live in daily, it's a chronic stress that doesn't really subside. And those chemicals act on the body as well, causing disease. So emotional dis-ease becomes physical disease because of those chemicals. And I just like to remind people of a simple basic truth. Your body can't live without a brain.
Mm.
Okay. And it's really is central command. It runs everything: how we think, how we feel, how we behave, how the body functions. Okay. And so something in any of those area glitches in the brain function, then that is going to glitch. If how we think, how we feel, how we behave. The stress that we experience, it also creates inflammation in the body, which then itself contributes to even brain illnesses such as Alzheimer, and contributes to other illnesses. When we don't get enough sleep, again, our inflammation is elevated, then our blood sugars become higher and are not regulated well. Our blood pressure becomes more unregulated, right? And then we're also suppressing our immune system, which means then we are also more subject to get sick. So sleep is really important. It's not something that is nice to have. It is a necessity, both for restoration, but also for ongoing health. And the person that said menopause is real, I'm right there with you, the amen choir right here, on that. And so again, but there are things that we can do that are basic fundamental health things. Again, I'm not talking about medication, that are basic fundamental health things that we can do to help improve sleep. And that's certainly some of the work that I do. And another simple thing we can do, of course, is we need to move our bodies, and we need to build muscle, right? And so all the sitting that we do, again, is not good for us in terms of health. It's not good for us in terms of building muscle strength. It's not good for us in terms of again, even our mental health and well-being. So,
Dr. Balin, there's something that's concerned me for years, and that is the way we program our children to live in perpetual states of stress. And we're believing that this is normal. And all of us were raised in environments where we're constantly being screamed at, fussed at, threatened with physical pain. And so our children live in a constant state of stress. And then the school environment that is created by the pressure, I guess, the teachers have, you got to make your children perform. If they don't, you might get fired. So even the learning process is not brought with joy and ease and peace and fun. Everything is high stress, and we're believing that this is the way things are supposed to be. So we're like a hamster on a wheel. We just keep turning on and on. We don't know how to stop and do something different and create a different kind of human being by having them in a society where they're treated well, they're talked to kindly, they're greeted with, oh, good morning, goddess and goddesses. God and goddess. We're not giving our children a feeling of being valued and loved and protected, and not having to live with a constant fear of public humiliation at any point. How do we stop that trend? How do we stop believing that this is the normal way you treat a child? Because this is the way we're believing that you should treat a child because they're a child and we're an adult and we get to scream at them and holler at them, instead of giving them an example of being treated kindly, living in a state of calmness, learning without fear of reprimand if you get something wrong. How do we change the thought so that we can create a different society by treating our children differently and with the level of respect and reverence that they deserve?
So, Dr. Naima, you know you can't give folks what you don't have.
Ooh.
Come on now, Dr. Balin.
Okay.
You give what you don't have.
You can't give what you don't have.
I
And
totally get that.
So, for instance, if you asked your parents for $5,000, they can't give it to you if they don't have it. Even if they wanted to give it to you, they can't give it to you because they don't have it. And this kind of goes back to the earlier part of our conversation, and which is, you know, what is my state of awareness and understanding and belief about who I am and why am I here? And just as importantly, the society that we're in and what its objectives are. And so, in addition to being a physician, because a lot of folks don't necessarily realize that the psychiatrist is a physician, right? I went to medical school. I could have become a surgeon or pediatrician or OB-GYN, which is actually why I decided to become a doctor, because I wanted to be an OB-GYN, but ended up changing after I did the rotation because I didn't want to be a surgeon. But I also, my undergrad degree is in sociology, and I have a minor in African American studies. And so one of the things that we need to do is to spend some time, as my dear friend and master teacher, I lovingly call him Master Yoda, says, spend some time looking at the ceiling, asking life's big questions. And we don't do that because we're conditioned not to. This society functions in a way such that everything and everybody, and I do mean everybody, all 330 million of us in this country, are a resource. And so the education system is designed to educate workers.
Ooh.
The health system was designed and created in this country in order to have healthy workers for capitalists. You cannot play a game if you don't understand what the game is and what the rules are. So the conditioning that we all experience, whether you're women, whether you're African American or Hispanic or even as, you know, a Caucasian male, you're educated and conditioned in order to occupy a certain role to fulfill a certain function. And that is not to serve your highest best interest, but a few folks at the top of the food chain is designed to do what I call the 3 Ps, right? Which is for profit, power, and pleasure. So when you understand what the system is doing to you and why they're doing it, then you can say, wait a minute, hold up, slick. This ain't working for me. Yes. And let me stop and take some time and reassess and reevaluate. As you well know, we've spent hundreds of years brought here forcibly against our will, and I'm talking about African American people, to be free labor, to enrich a few people. We have carried that, but also that sense of threat persists with us. But it's also why we have this legacy of such harsh treatment with our children, because doing something considered wrong, even slightly wrong, or just mistakenly being accused of something can cause us to end up lead to our deaths. wrongfully, of course. And so we have this legacy of physical punishment and harshness, which is really in many respects born out of trying to protect our children, of course, has been harmful. So one, there needs to be that level of awareness and understanding, but then we also need to treat ourselves well, with kindness and compassion. And the same thing that you were talking about giving to children, we need to be able to give it to ourselves. We need to be able to look in the mirror and say, I love you, not because of what I look or what I did or didn't do. Practicing unconditional love. That's what I love you just because I exist. Right. And when you can do that for you, then you can do that for yourself. My son, who's now 21, before he would leave to go to school, I have him look in the mirror and he look in there real quick, go, I love you. And then he'd be out the door.
At least he's doing it as a practice, you know, at least he's
right. So things, there has to be all that kind of awareness and understanding and practice with oneself in order to give it to your children, right? That you love your kids just because they breathe, just because they exist, because they are the gift that's here. And again, teaching them what's unique and valuable about themselves. No, you're not like so-and-so. And guess what? You're not supposed to be. You have your own unique wonderfulness, your own gifts, your own talents, your own purpose. You are here to do that. And understand that other people are not always going to see that or understand that, because understand that while everybody has sight, not everybody's got vision.
Dr. Durr, you just filled the crack in the cement when you said that last piece. Right. I think a lot of parents are trying to raise their children with their own ideas and identity. So if their identity is not wholly to self and understanding and practice what you said, then they're just kind of having these children to grow up driven to these here unrealized potentials that they have not yet realized, with the same pain that they feel and carry around that they have not yet learned to deal with and let go of. And the same type, these are legacy overstimulated unwellnesses that are going on inside of us. And I just want to kind of say this about my mom and my dad. My dad was like the kindest, sweetest guy in the world. My mother was the soft voice and the reckoning in the house, right? And my mother also
Peaches. Peaches.
Yes, baby. Peaches. But she was actually all for women. Let me just go there. But I think that was the beauty of my mother, because I was raised with 10 sisters and 3 brothers, which she had 16 and 14 of us survived, right? And so identity became extremely important in our home. And we were all trying to grab for our own personal identity. And in a lot of ways, it made us unwell, because there was this competitiveness that was always going on. Always going. And my mother had such a voice, Dr. Durr. That's one of the things that you do. You remind me of my mother's voice. She's had the consciousness to always speak at a certain level. And she command all of our attention from whatever room she was in. She'd say all our names and we all heard it, no matter what we do. We could be in another room going, shut up, you messing around, you better not hit me, give me the ball, whatever my mother would say. Senabella, you know, she would say all of our names and we'd hear it like a song and run to her.
That's good. That's good.
And she also promoted the idea that we could be whatever we chose to be, but we could always be greater than what that one idea is, you know, or was. And Pace Brown came back in, and I just want to make sure that I acknowledge these here comments because they're important. Oh man, doctor, just came at everybody's life. Okay, so I clearly need to make an appointment with you, Dr. Burr, because if you can help me find a way to sleep better, that would be amazing. My name is Africa Brown. Nice to meet you all. Love you too. So I love you, Senabella, but I love you too, Africa, of course. I mean, mental wealth and mental health, mental wealth is a phrase that I think we all need to begin to own and understand and try to understand just in principle every day what little small things we can do to achieve that. And for me, I'm just going to say, because I always see myself as the first thing to identify about everything. If somebody's saying something to me and it's affected them, I'm looking at myself, back at myself, saying, okay, you know, how can I understand that better? What a part of me in my life can identify with that and give some compassion, understanding to people for that, you know? And man, I just want to say, even the way that I know that you're studying us as we're here. Your eyes are like I mean, you all see what's going on, right? Dr. Durr, you're deep. I love the whole sprinkle stardust thing, but believe me, I'm not lost at all. I'm checking you out.
I tell people I'm deep water. Right? I make this is shallow water, but I don't live there. And if you want to come down here in deep water, you better know how to swim or have some water wings.
Woo! I like that one.
That. Well, you know what? I'm gonna come down there in your water and I'm gonna grow some wings, if nothing else. But man, what a beautiful, beautiful hour. We're coming to a close. But before we go, what I like to do, Dr. Durr, is to give you some more time to kind of give in principle at least 3 things that people can take away from this moment that they've had with you today, and to invite you to come back. Dr. Lateef is going to take us off stream and let Dr. Durr have it, and then I'll come back and close out. So please take advantage of these next few minutes if you don't mind.
Okay, and I was going to say, if it's okay, because we didn't quite get into it, was you know the Bronzeville Smooth Jazz Festival is coming up. And so obviously I want to, invite people. It is Saturday, August 1st from noon to 8:30 p.m. And so it's outside the Bronzeville the Bronzeville Marianos, which is at 39th and King Drive. So the stage is actually between 37th and 38th. And again, admission is free, parking is free. Bring your lawn chairs and your friends. It is a fantastic time. Last year we had about 8,000 people, and where people are dancing, they playing bid whist. They got the little outdoor rooms set up. So and these are some of the best artists you may not have heard of, and some of them you may have actually heard of. So we have Smooth Willie Foltz, who's playing at 1 p.m. and he is just an amazing guitarist, a former recording artist, and just really incredible. Then there's Reggie Foster, who is the second artist, and he again is a phenomenal saxophonist, just clear and somebody you'll just really enjoy. Then there is Park and Ride, and Park and Ride, they have such wonderful energy and a way of engaging in their lead singer. She reminds some people of a young Aretha, right? You got the R&B, the soul, and the church all in there, and she makes you feel stuff. And then there's also the last artist who's playing for the evening at 7:00 is Mr. Ross. So Michael Ross. Yes, Michael Ross. And some folks think he's like a young George Benson. He's got a beautiful voice and his way of playing. And they said, even when George Benson heard him, he was surprised, right, about his abilities. So again, I just want to invite people out to that.
Well, I don't want you to gloss over it, because I came last year. Well, I've been before, but last year I remember I had a great time, but my best time was at the antique cars. I'm just going to say that. I took so many pictures with the antique cars.
Oh, okay.
A lot. And of course, all the wonderful people and the beautiful view in Bronzeville, where it sits right at Mariano's. I think that it's important to talk about legacy, and this is establishing even more of what is the legacy of Bronzeville this year, Smooth Jazz Festival. And it's not a nuance, it's a reality. We are in the festival season in Chicago, and this is an important festival. It has such character and guts And so many people will leave something and come there because it lasts all day and people get to come. And if you've had your fill, you can leave. Or somebody says, where is this and when? So let's do that again.
So again, and just for people, it's Saturday only. Because even though I tell people it's Saturday, people start adding days. It's not. It's Saturday only, which is 2 weeks. In 2 weeks from this coming Saturday. So it's Saturday, August 1st. The stage is between 37th and 38th on King Drive. So it's outside of the Bronzeville Mariano's. It's there at 39th and King Drive. So again, Saturday, August 1st from noon to 8:30. Admission's free, parking is free. Mariano's is our big sponsor. So feel free to park in their parking lot. You're not going to get towed.
I didn't know that.
Huh?
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So it's, again, bring your lawn chairs. There are vendors. There are food trucks. Again, it is a fabulous time. This is our 5th year. And for us, we are, Frank Goss III is our producer. And it is always important for us to create an experience. I call it the FG3 experience.
Yeah.
But which is high quality in terms of entertainment, audience engagement, and the level of service. So we have concert concierges, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where are you getting that? Where else are you getting that from, right?
Concert concierge. Okay.
Yes, a concert concierge.
Yeah, I know the artists that you're speaking of. They're really dynamic, are my contemporaries. And I can't wait to get there and join the rest of you out there in August when this shows up. And I know that it's going to be outstanding. It's going to be outstanding. So,
and you can find it. I was going to say, and you can find them on You can find it on Facebook, and you can find it on Instagram. Again, the Bronzeville Smooth Jazz Festival, or BSJF.com. You can find me there as well. I'm on Facebook and YouTube and Instagram and LinkedIn. And I'm also starting a community on school and also SKOOL for professionals. I call them gifted professionals, right? You got the gift. You just a rock star without a roadmap.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, we've run out of time. I thought I was going to get off the screen and come back in, but this is lively. It's wonderful. You're welcome back anytime you want to. And I have to check you out on YouTube too. Why don't you talk about your YouTube show real quick before we go out? When is that? How can people catch it?
Yeah, again, it's my channel is my name. So Balin A, Durr, MD. The show has actually, I've had it in hiatus because of different things that I'm doing. However, there's about almost 50 episodes on there where I'm talking about some of the very things that we've discussed, right? Educators, physicians, entrepreneurs, different folks. And again, it's from that place of mental wealth and having the greatest fulfillment of your infinite potential and purpose. Mm-hmm. I do want to, and I'm starting I'm starting a new practice in terms of psychiatry practice. And so you can reach me at 708-365-8286. Website is under development. And again, I also, like I said, I do trainings and I'm a speaker. So keynotes and all of that. So I just, want to invite people to that if you need clarity and someone who's thorough and who you have no one who's more passionate about you fulfilling your potential and your gifts and your purpose than me. So please reach out. I'm here to help. And again, the thing that people can do, even just a simple something, is again, pause throughout the day. Seriously, just pause. Go inward in terms of touching base with yourself, center within yourself, and take a few deep breaths. What that does is it helps to slow your breathing, slow your heart rate, right? And to help you manage the stress. I had a parent who I took care of their children. And while he wasn't my patient, I just told him to do that. I said, he's like, I don't like to meditate. I can't meditate. I said, okay, that's fine. Just pause and take a few deep breaths. And when he went back to see his doctor was like, what are you doing? Your blood pressure is so much better. And so he, of course, Dr. Durr told me to just pause and take a few deep breaths. That simple thing will activate what we call the system, the calming nervous part of the nervous system, the parasympathetic system. And again, I already mentioned the magnesium.
Yes, you did. And because we've run out of time, I'm going to stop, pause, take a breath. And thank you so much for coming into the room, Dr. Durr. I look forward to having you anytime you want to come. I'm on dial. You are welcome. And I look forward to seeing and talking with you very soon. Thank you so much for coming on Coffee Break Live with Senabella. It's been wonderful. Thanks for everyone that's in the room. Dr. Latif, thank you for showing up here today. And that is a wrap for Coffee Break Live with Senabella here on The Female Solution. Have a good day, everyone.
Thanks so much for having me.
I want to wake up feeling beautiful. I want to wake up with the sunlight in my eyes and your arms surrounding me. I want to wake up feeling beautiful. That's how I want to be.